Hello everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another review of a play. Today I went to see The Matchmaker, which takes place in the 1800s, actually in 1893. And you've got a rich man, his name is Horace Vandergelter, and he thinks that love is foolish and that all human beings by nature are fools. And his his niece, wait, it's Ermengarde. Yeah, it's his niece. His niece Ermengarde, she has fallen in love with Ambrose Kemper, who is an artist, and immediately he disapproves of them. He doesn't want he doesn't want Ermengarde to have anything to do with Ambrose at all. It's very, very amusing. It's it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You wouldn't think of a play that stars in the Victorian era would be amusing at all, but it actually is, because the main character, Miss Levi, well, she's one of the main characters. She actually is the one that's arranging all the affairs, and all these people are falling in love, basically. And you got Barnaby Tucker and Irene Malloy and Minnie Fay, and Malachi Stack. Malachi Stack's a drunk. He's just this another character that shows up, and he gives his philosophy on life, and they all have their different perspectives and views, and it's just a very light-hearted, funny, amusing, delightful comedy that it just keeps getting better and better with every subsequent thing that happens. Especially since you've got two characters. You've got Cornelius and Barnaby, and Cornelius is one of Horace's clerks, and he's always been promoted to clerk yet again, and he says, I'm 33, Barnaby, I need to live, I need to go out, and I need to be among people. And I thought, yes, Cornelius, you and I have the same disease, but I have no social life. But anyway, it's just really a very hilarious comedy. It's wonderful. It's just funny and very enjoyable, and all the characters are very likable. The costuming is absolutely gorgeous, and I think that whoever was responsible for giving the actors and actresses their garments from the 1800s, the Victorian era garb, they did an absolutely fantastic job. They just did such a tremendous amount of research, because everything was extremely authentic, and it just reminded me of a lot of things that my my cousin Katie does for profit. Because what she does, she'll do Victorian teas, and she actually sews all these costumes together, and it's a very expensive hobby, let me tell you. I mean, cosplay in itself is an expensive hobby. I can vouch for that. Um, this is just a really sensational play. I think this is the best play that they've had for the entire season of their plays. Of course, I haven't seen Island Song yet, which is a premiere musical. It's going to be the last thing that they do. It really is just a frivolous and fun kind of play with a good lesson. It's all about adventure and, just getting outside of your comfort zone and doing something that you normally wouldn't do. Joining the human race, just like Horace does in this. And at first you think, oh, he's just a curmudgeon. He doesn't want anything to do with anybody. He's rich, and he doesn't have any friends. He's actually called friendless a few times by Mrs. Levi herself, which is a very apt description of him. And you think, oh, Aridin, but I'm sorry, I'm going into Homestuck again. Sorry. I need to quit doing that. But I just immediately thought of Aridin when I thought of him, and I thought, they're so alike. Um, rich and spoiled, and they don't have any friends, and nobody likes them. But she's the only one that puts up with him, and actually she sees redeemable qualities, in which there are redeemable qualities in Horace, and he is a gentleman, and he's actually he's worth knowing, and he's gallant, and he's got life left in him, and he deserves love, and that's the truth. And love is a venture, and it is an unknown an unknown quantity, an unknown frequency, an unknown element in life. And a lot of the best things that come out of life are the things that are unknown, and we're not used to them at first, especially if we're alone, and we're not really keen on the idea of actually having somebody to come into, like she said, I'm not really certain if I would want somebody meddling in my affairs and all that. And it's actually a very good soliloquy. Her soliloquy, Mrs. Levi's soliloquy, I think is the best in the entire play. And there's a lot of meat to it. It's very profound. And it just makes you think quite a bit. And the whole idea of women being subservient, and it's interesting to see this play in the context that it is done, and especially with Irene. Irene Malloy, she has a haberdashery, and they actually call her a milliner. And actually, milliners, and it says so here in the playbill, that milliners were often under the auspice that they were secretly prostitutes, and it was often very commonly done in that day. And that's why, and when it was done originally, it was just considered a little bit controversial because of that. And a lot of people who knew their history knew that, and I thought, oh my. But my reading has no ties to that. And it's just the love, the relationships that are presented are just so beautiful, and it just shows that love can take any shape, form, and what depths and what amazing acts human beings will go to and go through just to pursue love or a relationship with another human being, or just to become part of humanity itself. And it's just really a tremendous, magnificent, marvelous play, and I highly recommend you see it. It's today was the last day. I'm sorry, today was the last running of Matchmaker. And the next play that they will be featuring is called Island Song. So I give Matchmaker 2 thumbs up and 5 stars, hands down. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. If it's playing in your area, definitely check it out, because it's very enjoyable. And even if you don't like the idea of the whole Victorian theme, I mean, don't let that dissuade you, because it takes you by surprise. I mean, there are some pretty funny things in this play that will just have your side splitting in laughter, and it's just absolutely tremendous. It is so wonderfully done, and just a delight for the eyes and ears, and particularly for just your feeling all around. And for me, it was a much needed respite from a lot of the stuff that I've been going through. So I needed this break, definitely. It was just a nice little getaway and respite for my soul and my heart, and I needed the dose of laughter, and it was it was well received and much appreciated.